Daf Yomi, Tractate, Bava Batra, page 123. Kuf Chav Gimel, Amud Aleph, with the words Chelko im Echad, Chelko im Chamisha. Ma Chelko im Echad pi Shnayim ke'echad, Av Chelko im Chamisha pi Shnayim ke'echad. There may be times when a firstborn takes his portion of the inheritance, dividing the estate with one other brother, and there may be times when a firstborn takes his portion of the inheritance, dividing the estate with five brothers. And there is no indication that the Torah differentiates between the manner in which the respective firstborns collect in each scenario. Therefore, just as when a firstborn takes his portion, dividing the estate with one other brother, he receives double the property received by one inheritor, so too, when a firstborn takes his portion of the inheritance, dividing the estate with five brothers, he receives double the property received by one inheritor. O klach l'derech zo, chelko im echad, v'chelko im chamisha, ma chelko im echad, pi shnayim b'chol hanechasim, av chelko im chamisha, pi shnayim b'chol hanechasim. The Batra suggests the opposite logical derivation, or perhaps go this way. There may be times when a firstborn takes his portion of the inheritance, dividing the estate with one other brother, and there may be times when a firstborn takes his portion of the inheritance, dividing the estate with five brothers. Therefore, just as when a firstborn takes his portion, dividing the estate with one other brother, he receives a double portion of all the property, so too when a firstborn takes his portion of the inheritance, dividing the estate with five brothers, he receives a double portion of all the property. Talmud Lomar v'haya b'yom hanchilo esbanov ha'toyer ribso nachlo etzel achin ha'eno lecha ladun kalash nachoin as the logical inference can lead to either conclusion, the halacha is determined by a derivation from a verse. The verse states, "Then it shall be in the day that he causes his sons to inherit," Deuteronomy 21:16, as the next verse spells out, "But he shall acknowledge the firstborn, the son that he hated, by giving him a double portion of all that he has," Deuteronomy 21:17. The former verse is ostensibly redundant. The additional verse is therefore understood as an inclusion. The Torah increased inheritance with regard to the brothers, indicating that the more brothers there are, the greater the portion they collect from the entire estate. Therefore, you should not reason in accordance with the final formulation in which the Batra suggests that the firstborn inherits twice as much as all the other brothers combined, but in accordance with the first formulation, according to which the firstborn inherits twice as much as the other brother. Ve'omer uvenei Ruven bechor Yisrael hu ha-bechor u'ichalelo yitzui aviv nitna bechoraso levnei Yosef ben Yisrael v'lo yisyachesh lebechorecha ve'omer ki Yehuda gavar be'achav u'lenagid b'menu ve'bechora Yosef. The Batra reinforces this statement by citing additional verses, and the verse states, "And the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, for he was the firstborn, but inasmuch as he defiled his father's couch, his birthright was given to the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel, yet not so that he was to be reckoned in the genealogy as firstborn." 1 Chronicles 5:1. And the following verse states, "For Judah prevailed above his brothers, and the prince came of him, but the birthright was Joseph's." 1 Chronicles 5:2. Nemra bechora li Yosef, v'nemra bechora li Doros. Ma bechora hamur liosef pishnayim ke'echad. Av bechoira hamur ledoles pishnayim ke'echad. The Batra derives that birthright, meaning firstborn status, is stated here with regard to Joseph, and birthright is stated in another verse concerning the double portion with regard to the later generations. By giving him a double portion of all that he has, for he is the first fruits of his strength, the birthright is his. Deuteronomy 21:17. Just as the birthright stated with regard to Joseph is double the property received by one inheritor, as the Gemara will explain, so too the birthright stated with regard to the later generations is double the property received by one inheritor. Ve'omer v'ani nasati lecha Shechem echad alechecha asher lekach min ha'moer v'chal v'kashti ki v'chal v'kashti lekach v'lo kvar nemar ki lo v'kashti eftach v'chabi lo toshieni elachal b'izu tfila kashti zu bakasho. The Batra cites additional related verses, and with regard to Jacob's bequest to Joseph, the verse states, "Moreover, have I given to you one portion above your brothers, which I took out of the hand of the Amorite with my sword with my bow." Genesis 48:22. The Batra explains the verse, but is it so that Jacob took the portion with his sword and with his bow? But isn't it already stated, through you do we push down our adversaries? Through your name do we trample those that rise against us. For I trust not in my bow, neither can my sword save me. Psalms 44:6-7. Rather, what is the meaning of with my sword? This is referring to prayer. What is the meaning of with my bow? This is referring to petition. This concludes the Batra. Mai ve'omer v'chi tema hai l'chid Rabbi Yochanan ben Beroka hu de'asat hashema uvenei Ruven v'chol Yisrael. The Gemara analyzes the Batra. What is the reason the Batra cites additional proofs, introducing them with the term, and the verse states the term, and the verse states. The Gemara explains, and if you would say that the proof from the verse, "Then it shall be in the day that he causes his sons to inherit," is not valid, as perhaps this verse comes to teach the halakha of Rabbi Yochanan ben Beroka, that a father may designate property for whichever child he desires, then come in here a separate proof. And the sons of Reuben, the firstborn of Israel, his birthright was given to the sons of Joseph, the son of Israel, as Joseph's birthright was that his sons received two portions. Evidently, the birthright of the firstborn is that he receives double the amount received by one inheritor. V'chi tema bechora me bechora so lo gamrina tashema abechora liosef. And if you would say that this is not a proof either, as we do not derive the meaning of the term birthright, see Deuteronomy 21:17, from the similar but not identical term of his birthright, come and hear a proof from the term employed in the following phrase from the verse, "But the birthright was Joseph's." V'chi tema Yosef gufei mimai de pishnayim ke'echad hava tashema v'ani nasati lacha Shechem echad alachecha. The Gemara continues to explicate the biblical citations in the Batra. And if you would say that this is not a proof either, as concerning Joseph himself, from where may it be learned that his birthright was double the property received by one inheritor, come and hear a proof. Moreover, I have given to you one portion above your brothers, indicating that Joseph received one more portion than each of the other sons of Jacob. Amar le Rav Papa le Abaye, Ema dikla be'alma, Amar le alecha marakro, Ephraim Menashe, Ki Ruven v'Shimon Yehuli. Rav Papa said to Abaye, why not say that the term one portion is referring to a mere palm tree or some other relatively small extra gift instead of a full equal share. Abai said to him, for you, meaning to answer your question, the verse states, Ephraim and Manasseh, even as Reuben and Simeon, shall be mine. Genesis 48, verse 5. Evidently, Joseph's children together received portions equal to that of Reuben and Shimon together, meaning two full portions. Ba'minei Rabbi Chen, bo'mer Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani, ma'ro Yaakov shenazal b'choyer meruven, u'nesana liYosef, ma'ro u'vichal lo yisui aviv, ksiv, ela ma'ro shenesat liYosef. Rabbi Chelbo asked Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani, what did Joseph see that he took the status as the firstborn from Reuben and gave it to Joseph? The Gemara wonders, what does he mean? What did he see? The matter is written explicitly, but inasmuch as he defiled his father's couch, his birthright was given to the sons of Joseph, 1 Chronicles 5:1. Rather, Rabbi Chelbo's question was, what did he see that he gave it specifically to Joseph? Emshal lecha mashal lema adavar domeh. I will tell you a parable. To what is this matter comparable? The Bava Bayis shegidol yasam b'zoch beiso liyamim asher oisu yasam ha'amar anihu lebal Bayis b'nechasai v'marlei v'i lav d'chata Ruven lo mahani le liyosef lo mida'am. The parable is the homeowner who raised an orphan in his home. Eventually, that orphan became wealthy and said, I will provide benefit to the homeowner from my property. Similarly, Joseph sustained Jacob in Egypt for a number of years. Jacob saw it fit to repay the kindness. Rabbi Chelbo said to him, and if Reuben did not sin, would Jacob not have provided any benefit to Joseph? It cannot be that Jacob repaid Joseph only as a result of Reuben's sin. Ela amar Rabbi Yonasan Rabach lo kach amar. Ru'uya hayta b'choyer l'seis b'rochel d'chsiv eile toles Yaakov Yosef ela shekadamta le'a berachamim ומתוך צניעות שהייתה בת ברחל החזירה הקדוש ברוך הוא לה. Rather, doesn't your teacher Rabbi Yonatan say like this? It was appropriate for the child receiving the status of firstborn to emerge from Rachel, as it is written, these are the generations of Jacob, Joseph, Genesis 37:2, indicating that Joseph was Jacob's primary progeny, but Leah advanced ahead of Rachel with appeals for mercy, meaning with prayer, and thereby earned the status as firstborn for her firstborn. But because of the modesty that Rachel possessed, the Holy One, blessed be He, returned the status as firstborn to her. This is why Jacob gave the status as firstborn to Joseph. My kidam teleh berachamim dichsi v'nei lea rakois. My rakois idem rakois mamish. אפשר מגנוס בהמה. טמאה לא דיבר ככסוף דכסיף מן הבהמה טהורה ומן הבהמה אשר איננו טהורה בגנוס צדיקים דיבר על כסוף. אלא אמר רבי אלעזר שמת נושא ארוכויס. The Gemara explains his answer. What does it mean that Leah advanced ahead of Rachel with mercy? As it is written, and Leah's eyes were weak, rakot. Genesis 29:17. What is the meaning of rakot? If we say that her eyes were literally weak, is it possible that the verse would say that? The verse there did not speak of the disparagement of even a non-kosher animal, as it is written, from the pure animals and from the animals that are lacking purity. It could have said that are impure, but they said that they're lacking purity, means they want to be a little bit nicer to the animals even. So if the verse states that are lacking purity rather than saying explicitly disparagingly that they're impure, if so, with regard to animals, the Torah was sensitive. Did the verse speak here to disparagement of the righteous? Well, the more so they shouldn't be exposing something disparaging. Rather, Rabbi Elazar says the term alludes to the fact that her gifts, meaning the gifts given to her descendants, the priesthood and the monarchy, were long-lasting. Aruchot, like her eyes, I guess, Eine Lea Rakot. Her eyes were arukot, long-lasting. Rav Amar L'olam Rakos Mamish V'lo Genai L'hula El Shvach Hula Shahisa Amatas Al Parshas Drachim B'nei Adam Shayu Omrim Shnei Banim Yesh La L'Rivka Shnei Banos Yesh Lo L'Lavan Gedoyla L'Godoyl Yutan L'Koten. Rav says that there's a different explanation of the verse. Actually, in truth, Loidam, it literally means her eyes are weak. And this is not a denigration of her, but a praise of her. As she would hear people at the crossroads coming from the land of Canaan who would say, Rebekah has 2 sons, and her brother Laban has 2 daughters. The older daughter will be married to the older son, and the younger daughter will be married to the younger son. Yehoshua Sheves al Pasha Doachim Mishaeles Gadol Ma Mazov Ish Ra Hu Milastem Brios Katan Ma Masav Ishtam Yoshev Ohadim V'haita Boche Ad Shinisharo Rise Aineha. Rav continues, and she would sit at the crossroads and ask, what are the deeds of the older son? The passerby would say, he is an evil man. He robs people. She would ask, what are the deeds of the younger son? She would answer, he's a quiet man dwelling in tents, Genesis 25:27. And because she was so distraught at the prospect of marrying the evil brother, she would cry and pray for mercy until her eyelashes fell out. Since the weakness of her eyes was due to this cause, characterizing her eyes as weak constitutes praise. This is Leah's prayer for mercy, to which Rabbi Yonatan referred. V'hainu dichti v'yar Hashem kisnu alea ma'isinu'o ilemas nu'a mamish efshe beginus behemet mea lo diber kasuv beginus tzadikim diber katuv el ra kadosh baruch hu shesinu'in ma'asov esav befanea v'yiftach es rachamo. The Gemara comments, and her desire not to marry Esav is the basis of that which is written, and the Lord saw that Leah was hated, and he opened her womb. Genesis 29:31. What is the meaning of hated? If we say that she was literally hated, is it possible? The verse there did not speak to the disparagement of even a non-kosher animal. So did the verse here speak to the disparagement of the righteous? Rather, the Holy One, blessed be He, saw that the behavior of Esau was hated by her, and therefore He opened her womb. Umay tznias haisa ba berachel. Dichsi vayagid Yaakov lerachel ki achi aviyahu chi ben Rivka hu. V'halo ben achois aviyahu ela omar lo minas bat li amrele in mihu abba rama'ohu v'lo yachot le. The Gemara now explains the second part of Rabbi Yonatan's explanation, and what was a demonstration of the modesty that Rachel possessed, as it is written, and Jacob told Rachel that he was her father's brother, and that he was Rebekah's son. Genesis 29:12. The Gemara asks, but isn't he the son of her father's sister? Why did he say that he was her father's brother? Rather, Jacob and Rachel had the following exchange. Jacob said to Rachel, will you marry me? And Rachel said to him, yes, but my father is a deceitful person, and you cannot defeat him. Amar la. So Jacob said to her, my rameute, Amrele itli achata de keshisha minai, velo minazba li mekama. Amrela, achiv ani beramaus. Amrela, umi shari luhu lesdiki lesigoi beramusa, im navar titavar, ve'im ikesh titapal, masarla simani. Jacob said to her, "What is his method of deceit of which I need to be aware?" Rachel said to him, "I have a sister who is older than me, and he will not marry me off before he marries her off, even if he promises that he will do so." Jacob said to her, "I am his brother, meaning equal in deceit, and he will not be able to deceive me." That is why Jacob said that he was her father's brother. Rachel said to him, "But is it permitted for the righteous to act deceitfully?" Jacob answered, "Yes, in certain circumstances, as the verse states concerning God. With the pure you show yourself pure, and with the crooked you show yourself subtle." 2 Samuel 22:27. Therefore, im navar titabar, v'im ikesh titapal. That would be a good gematria to know. But how are we doing on time? Oh wow, 21 minutes. Well, we're almost done. So, therefore, to counter Laban's deceit, Jacob gave Rachel secret signs to prove to him that she was the one marrying him. Ki kamali leleel sabara hashta, nikasta chas misare nele v'handi chsivi bakir, v'hinei leia v'klal de'ad hashta lav lehi. El mitach simon shemasu Yaakov l'Rachel musartan lelea lo haviyada ad hi shat. Laban did in fact attempt to have Jacob marry Leah instead of marrying Rachel. When Laban's associates were bringing Leah up to the wedding canopy to marry Jacob, Rachel thought, "Now my sister will be humiliated when Jacob discovers that she is the one marrying him." Therefore, Rachel gave the signs to Leah, and this is as is written, "And it came to pass in the morning that behold, it was Leah." Genesis 9:25. This verse is difficult. By inference, one should derive until now she was not Leah. Rather, through the signs that Jacob gave to Rachel, and that she gave it to Leah, he did not know that it was she until that moment. This is the modesty of Rachel to which Rabbi Yonatan is referring. Boy Mina, you know what? We'll start 123 on Boy Mina.